But why is frozen also the? Okay.
So the battle rages on between Tony Vodicek and Max Mader, absolutely locked together, but Mader has got a marginal advantage around the top mark ahead of Tony Vodicek. So somehow Mader has managed to haul past his arch rival, but there is absolutely nothing to choose between the front two. While Dennis Taradin has now put himself back up into contention for third place in a really tight battle with the defending world champion, Teo de Ramacour. At the front, Tony Vodicek swings his yellow kite into a jibe. Max Mader matches with the red kite. The two leaders now looking to chase that gust ahead of them. Remember, they're going so fast, the apparent wind carries them into the gust in front of them, so they can see the wind that they're about to catch, and they'll do 32 knots and go even faster once they get down towards the bottom of the course. Good breeze as they get down towards the bottom of the course, and Max Mader and Tony Vodicek continue to be absolutely locked together, and it looks like Vodicek might have a marginal speed advantage on the 16-year-old Singaporean, as Vodicek, the yellow bib wearer, managed to get past the blue bib of Max Mader. It remains extremely close between those two.
Yeah, it seems that the breeze built up a little bit. I mean, looking on the white caps that now we can see. And they're really going fast and all the time over 30 on the downwind. It's going to be really interesting how Tony Vodicek and Max Mader, they will round the mark at the end.
A bit of a butt touch there by Max Mader. It looks like the Vodicek is just a bit more consistent downwind. It looks like his setup, the way that he's riding that board, is just a little bit more settled than Max Mader, who doesn't look quite as at home in these conditions. Max Mader going for a jibe. Now Tony Vodicek matches. That should be the last manoeuvre for both of them as Vodicek swings his kite down into the power zone for the last fast starboard reach. And what's going on with Max Mader's kite?
Yeah, the tips, folding the tips, and then you have to go all the way downwind until it's not getting in shape. There is no way to get enough speed. And so Tony, for sure, will set up a bullet.
And doesn't even look like Vodicek is going at full charge now. It looks like he's a little bit backed off, Mirko.
Yeah, I think he just realized that he's so close to the finish line, he doesn't want to push.
So that was a pretty slow finish by the high-speed standards of these kites, but it doesn't matter for Tony Vodicek because that's another race win for the Slovenian, and it's Max Mader in second, and across the line in third place, we think that might have been... I think maybe Teo de Ramacour in third place.
Yeah, and Boschetti and Maximo share straight behind.
Okay, and then just coming across the line, bringing up the back of the top 10 is the likes of Dennis Taradin, Maxime Nochet, Nico Paglia, Benoit Gomez, Riccardo Pianozzi. We'll go to an ad. Back to you soon.
Meet the R1 V4, our highest performance Olympic and IKA registered racing machine.
So we have the next start coming up in just under 30 seconds. This is going to be the third race of the afternoon for the women. And so far, the best rider of the day has been Great Britain's Ellie Aldridge, winning the first race of the session, coming second in the next. And Jessie Campman, she was winner of the previous race. And Jessie Campman, as we know, always starts at the pin end of the line. Let's see if that proves to be the case this time round. We'll update you shortly with who's where as the women launch out of the Goldfleet Race 7, and already some clear leaders. Very good start by the orange Ozone Kite. I think that might be O'Brien. I'm not too sure. Jessie Campman is one of the ones that has launched out of the left-hand end of the line, right of your screen as we look at it. And up on the far side, left of your picture, that looks like it could be... oh, hang on. We hear that one of the riders was over, and we think that's Kirsten O'Brien, and that is the orange Ozone Kite that I mentioned just now. So for the USA rider Kirsten O'Brien, unfortunately, that start was a little bit too good, and she is going to be U-flag disqualified. Good breeze out on the race course, but we hear that, that this might be the last race before a brief break, when the riders are going to be sent back ashore for an opportunity to change their kites if they want to do so. So if there's a short break at the end of this race, I hope you stay with us, because we have still got more racing to bring you this afternoon. Meanwhile, they are getting towards about a third of the way up the race course on race 7.
Yeah, we can see the Moros exactly on the center of the course. We can spot on the red Fly Surfer Kite just straight windward to her Ellie Aldridge.
Okay, so Ellie Aldridge going well again, but a better start by Daniela Moroz, who by her high standards has had a fairly average day so far. Fortunately for Moroz, her closest competitors, the French riders Lauriane Nelot and Poema Newland, have had an absolutely disastrous day so far. So Moroz, who just swings her kite onto port tack, is looking in control at the moment. She's certainly one of the front runners. And Ellie Aldridge, who's been so quick today, also going very well in these early stages of race Goldfleet 7 for the women. We're here in Poeto Beach in the south of Sardinia. We're on the penultimate day of the competition. My name's Andy Rice, and with my co-commentator Mirko Babini, we are bringing you all the action from here for the World Championships, the biggest event of the 2022 season for these Olympic aspirants aiming at the Paris 2024 Games. And in the middle of your picture, the kite that's not the Fly Surfer, the blue Ozone, that is Lauriane Nelot, second overall in this competition. It's time for her to get her skates on, because she is not having the best of days. And just to the right of your picture, you can see the really fast red-tipped kite, the yellow bib of Daniela Moroz, going really, really well in this race at the moment, as is Ellie Aldridge on the left of your picture. But
you can see tactically Karl Zuckerman, which was the first one going all the way to the left side of the course.
To the right?
To the right side of the course. It seems that she's leading now the pack. Yes, we can spot on the red
hugely, isn't
kite.
it?
Hugely, yeah. She went just early attack to the right side, and then really got a lot of pressure. We can see the wind, how different it is on the race course. Really nice work for Gal Zuckerman on today call.
Gal Zuckerman, 19 years old, winner of the Youth World Championships, winner of every single race of the Youth World Championships in Oman at the end of last year, and showing signs of real world-class performance, going particularly well today. And that's exactly what Zuckerman needs to do if she's going to guarantee her place in the top 10 for tomorrow's medal series, because Zuckerman started the day in 15th place overall. and she needs to put in these kind of performances if she's going to actually come through and be able to contend on the final day of the competition.
Yeah, for sure she will. We remember also from the European, sometimes she has a really good result, but not a lot of consistency from Gal Zuckerman. We remember the big crash just straight in front of the finish line.
That's right. Yeah, that we saw that at the European Championships a couple of weeks ago, just moments from finishing and from winning a race, and then it all going wrong for her. Maggie Pichetto doing very well, a young Italian rider. What do we know about Maggie, Mirko?
Yeah, Maggie, she's running from for the Yacht Club Italiano. She's also spending a lot of time in Cagliari, so she is looking pretty familiar with the Gast, and she's super tactical. Sometimes doesn't push too much, but I really hope that she can stay on that spot, because also she's she make just for just 1 point the gold fleet, but we all know she can do it better, she can play better, and now she's sitting in second place.
So great riding by Maggie Pichetto in second place, but she's got Daniela Moroz breathing down her neck in third. Meanwhile, Zuckerman with the distinctive red gin kite charging towards the bottom of the course, past the red committee boat and aiming at the red rounding mark here. The 19-year-old Israeli swinging the kite up in the air and then back down again into the power zone and maintaining a very healthy lead over the second place board. That's Maggie Pichetto from Italy. And Ellie Aldridge in third place. She's having a really good day. She's already had a first and a second and now lying third in this race. And Lauriane Nolot in fourth place. And Lauriane, who started the day with a disastrous 23rd, has made amends in the next race with a third and is starting to look good in this race as well. So Nolot looking much stronger as the day moves on.
So almost all of the top fleet are on the leg 3. Really important, because with this kind of result, for sure they will we will start to get some change on the head of the result at the end of the day. We are only halfway for the gold fleet of today. They're really pushing to get that spot on the top 10, because tomorrow is going to be the big day for the top 10. So it's really important. Every single result that you get today is a point, really important.
And after her second and sixth places in the earlier races, Gal Zuckerman is in 12th place overall, and she is 5 points out of the top 10. So if Gal Zuckerman, who just goes into attack, can maintain the lead in this race and get a race win, that will surely launch the Israeli up into the top 10. Those are the standings overall. So at the moment, it's Gisela Pulido-Burrell who is in 10th place, the Spanish rider, just holding on to a spot. But there's going to be a shake-up, because Gal Zuckerman is going fast up leg 3 of race 7 of the Gold Fleet women's competition. And Zuckerman looking very fast with this distinctive and unusual red gin kite. We don't see many of these kites in the fleet, Mirko, and yet on the strength of this race right now, you wonder why others aren't using it. The Fly Surfer absolutely dominates. It's the most popular brand on the circuit, but the gin's going well here.
Yeah, the gin goes really well. We know that they have to set up and fix some kind of things to get the kite really work well, but we all know it's they have really good performance on this kind of condition. We all know that now they are pushing a lot, and then most of them now they prefer Fly Surfer because has a really wider range of use. I guess it's really important. All the kites that have been using from the top rider, all of them, they can go really fast. It's really important to get used and to use the kite and to know all the equipment as much as you can. So you have to spend a lot of time on it, and this is what Gal always stated. He really loved her kite. He loved the equipment and is being using it. She know how to set up properly the kite, and we can see the result. Now she's leading.
Zuckerman looking very relaxed. Looks like she might have slightly overstood the ley line, but doesn't matter because she's got such a nice lead. Down to the leeward of her, it looks like that's Daniela Moroz putting in 2 extra tacks, but Moroz going extremely well in this race as well. So Moroz not dominating today, but being very, very consistent. And Zuckerman looking relaxed there. I'm sure that's not the reality when you're doing 30 knots plus downwind. But there goes the 19-year-old Israeli into a jibe, safely onto port, and there's a real battle between the next 3. Moroz is in that fight.
Yeah, Moroz, Ellie Aldridge, and Maggie Pescetto.
So that's a really good battle going on for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. Ellie Aldridge just holding on in front of Daniela Moroz. Aldridge jibing on the far left of your picture, and in the middle right of your screen, that's Maggie Pescetto. And Daniela Moroz, you just see her on the edge of your screen. But right there, we see Gail Zuckerman, race leader, charging down towards the bottom of the course. That relaxed stance. The red kite well under control. Getting windier as they get towards the bottom of the course. Daniela Moroz looking fast on the left of picture. I don't think it's going to be enough to threaten Gail Zuckerman. Zuckerman's still looking comfortable, but look at the wafts of gust coming across the course. It's very uneven across the course, and actually as I look at it from there, I don't know if it's deceptive, but it looks like maybe there's stronger wind towards the top of the course rather than the bottom.
Yeah, it seems that it's just increasing the wind now, and then the main gust coming obvious from offshore. So you can see, I mean, maybe it's the drone effect. We don't know exactly.
No, that could well be the case. But look at that beautiful coastline of Sardinia. I'm sure that's not very high in the mind of Gail Zuckerman. She's got other things to think about as she gets the kite back down in the power zone. She's done her final jibe. She's about to go round past the red mark, the turning mark. There's the red committee boat that they start from. And Zuckerman's just got to keep it together for the last 30 seconds on the reach towards the finish. Just getting down past the leeward mark, swings the red kite into the power zone. And the final charge, the final 200 meters towards the finish line. This is going to be a great result for Gail Zuckerman. And this will put her up into the top 10 for the first time this week in Poeto Beach, Sardinia. And Gail Zuckerman, if she can maintain this form for the rest of the day, will surely be fighting it out for the medals tomorrow in the finale, the medal series. Gail Zuckerman, winner of Goldfleet Race 7 in the women's division. What a fantastic performance and a dominant start to finish race win by Zuckerman, who punches the air in celebration. Ellie Aldridge comes across the line. No, that's Maggie Pescetto comes across the line in 2nd. And then in 3rd, it's Daniela Moroz, Ellie Aldrich in 4th. Ellie Aldrich had an absolutely amazing day so far, a 1st, a 2nd and a 4th place. And then a gap before we see Gisela Pulido from Spain amongst the next group. We will go to an ad. Back to you soon. So what a great finish for Gal Zuckerman, winning that race just now. And also really good for Maggie Pichetto in second. Daniela Moroz consolidating her race lead with a third. And Ellie Aldridge continues to pull herself up the leaderboard with a fourth place. Ellie Aldridge already up into third overall. Still quite a points gap to close on Lauriane Nolot in second. So even though Nolot not having the best of days, she's had such an amazing performance in previous days here on Poeto Beach that it's going to be hard for Aldridge to displace Nolot from second overall. Now, just to update you, there's going to be a 15-minute gap before we have the next start, which is going to be men's race 7. So they have been given time to change kites and just gather themselves before they go into the next race. So while we are waiting to get underway again, I want to mention the fact that we've actually got an awful lot of famous sailors here from outside of the sport of kiting. And for example, we got Ika Martinez, the gold medalist from the 49ers, coaching Leonie Meyer from Germany. And we've got many other big names here as well. Let's find out a little bit more about that. I spoke to some of them earlier this week. Difficult start to the day with rain, thunder and lightning, but that at least gave us the opportunity to talk to some big names from the sport that are looking at this event for the first time. Lockie Naismith, you've come a long way for this, New Zealand. How's your first Worlds going at a Formula Kite event?
Well, it's very exciting to be here first off. Yesterday had some beautiful conditions and yeah, it's good to race against such a competitive fleet.
Right, Robbie, you've done everything. You won the America's Cup, you've won the Whitbread, the Volvo, you're still in that world with TP52s. But apart from Lockie being your son, what is it that brings you to a kite event like this?
Oh, it's awesome to be here. It's so good to see all the competitors from different countries. I mean, kiting really is at the cutting edge of sailing, and it's just amazing to watch. The skills and the performance really are simply amazing.
So there are America's Cup and Volvo Ocean Race legends like Robbie Naismith, and then there are Olympic legends like Stevie Morrison. Twice went to the games in the 49er and won the World Championships. Stevie, I know that's a fast game, the 49er, but what relevance does your expertise have coming to this at the Worlds?
I've certainly got no intention of teaching anyone to kite. I enjoy kiting back home, come from Exmouth, and so know the Bridge family well, who are of course involved in this scene. But yeah, no skills there, but certainly I see Ika Martinez here, Charlie McKee, we're all sort of skiff sailors. It's a fast decision-making sport, and you know, this is sailboat racing. It's just happening an awful lot quicker. The decision-making is very fast, so I think we can help from that side. We're used to campaigning, which is, I think, is new, planning ahead, 1 year, 4 years at a time to be on top of the game, and hopefully we can bring a little bit of knowledge like that, and at the same time we're going to learn an awful lot from a new sport like this is.
Well, the sun came out, but the wind never really did. It never really arrived. So we waited around for a bit, tried to get some racing in, but unfortunately no competition on day 2. We look forward to better on day 3. So, turns out that we actually have a race start for the women in just 3 minutes from now. So the change of what we just heard, we can see one of the kites in the water. It's the men who are changing kites on the beach, whilst the women are continuing to race. So we got 2 minutes 40 until the next start. We will just go to a quick ad and back to you shortly. 2 minutes to the start of the next race. Conditions still looking good, and the women are going to go straight into their last race of the session. And who has impressed you particularly today, Mirko? I'm going to put my hand up for Ellie Aldridge, but maybe that's because I'm from Great Britain, and her first, second and fourth is impressing me. But who's impressing you?
Jesse. Jesse definitely impressed me because he didn't miss any start. She went straight on the side that she wanted. She get her spot on the starting line, and she was super fast. So it was a great battle between Jessie Kapman and Ellie Aldridge as well.
Gal Zuckerman showing that there are opportunities on the right-hand side of the screen. Now, where we are looking at the overall scores there, but I'm not sure that's quite right because the last race, Gal Zuckerman was the winner of that race. So I think that needs some updating. And
it was the previous one.
Yes, I think so. We've got 1 minute to the start of the next race, and we've got a very nice little sporty keelboat out there with a grandstand view of the start line area. We've got 25 riders, and we are now getting to the business end. This is the final opportunity for riders like Gal Zuckerman to make sure that they make it into the final top 10 for tomorrow's medal series, because the way that the medal series is structured, even if you squeak into the top 10 in 8th, 9th or 10th place, if you have an amazing final day, you could still end up winning the World Championship. But the way things stand, Daniela Moroz, who's wearing the yellow bib, you can see in the middle of the screen there, just next to the committee boat, as she lines up in the final 20 seconds. Moroz is proving to be the one to beat. Already 5-time winner of this world title and looking well placed to win it for a 6th. We're in the final 10 seconds to the start. Mirko, who's going to get the pin end of the line?
Daniela Moros or Gisela Pulido, they are the most close to the lower side of the starting line.
Surely not. Where is Jessie Catman? I was expecting you to say Jessie Catman, but
yeah, me too. But she's not there this time.
So out of the middle of the line is Ellie Aldridge, who's already had a great day today. We saw the orange ozone kite of Kirsten O'Brien go just out of picture. She looks like she's safely behind the line after being UFD disqualified. The blue ozone there, if that is Lauriane Nelot's blue ozone, doesn't look that well placed out of the start so far.
I don't even see Jessie Campan on the tracking.
Okay,
maybe she was there, but we can't see her.
I can't believe she didn't win the pin. Jessie Campan always wins the pin. Ellie Aldridge going very high and fast, but that's Gal Zuckerman going out to the right-hand side. Well, Zuckerman won the previous race by going out to the right-hand side sooner than most. So will the Israeli find something good over that side of the course again? Too early to say right now. Katie Dabson, she's had a pretty good day. Maddie Anderson, the British riders are getting good starts and they're going very fast in these conditions. That's Gal Zuckerman just going out to the right again.
It's interesting. Everyone start to go on the right side of the course, but Daniela Moros and Jemima Cratron and Maddie Anderson, Ellie Aldridge, they are the only one that continue to the lay line on the left side of the course.
Ellie Aldridge really holding the rest of the starboard tackers on. I think the others will probably want to tack as soon as Aldridge tacks. That's Zuckerman making her lonely charge out to the right-hand side. It gave her a really big lead in the previous race. Now's the moment of truth for the Israeli rider. She tacks on to starboard just as the boards on the far side of the course. Daniela Moroz on the left of your screen tacks. And maybe that's Lauriane Nelot. I think Nelot is on the fly surfer today, maybe, not the ozone. Daniela Moroz, the right-hand two that we're looking at here, she's looking really fast with the red-tipped fly surfer kite.
Yeah, really big lift from the left side of the course. This time, maybe Daniela Moroz, she spotted the right wing on the right side of the course. Again, interesting how they get closer to the mark. Let's see if it's gonna work.
So Leonie Meyer looking good on starboard tack. Katie Dabson on the far left, also going well. The British riders having a good day of it. Looking close between the port and the starboard tackers right now. I don't see, maybe that's the red kite of Zuckerman there. That could well be Zuckerman there. I thought maybe Zuckerman would be higher up. So that right-hand track, if that is Zuckerman, hasn't worked out so well for her this time round. Here is the yellow bib of Daniela Moroz coming across on port. How will she slot into the line of starboard tackers as they all get onto that final approach to the windward mark for the first time?
She's pumping to get speed again.
So Moroz on the left of your screen with the red wetsuit and the yellow bib. She's got the kite in the power zone. Dabson and Polido also doing well. It's looking very close. There's no runaway leader this time round.
No, it's going to be a bunch of them that will round the mark almost at the same time, but Daniela, she will be the first.
So good riding by Daniela. She's a little bit low the ley line. Looks like she might have to pump that board a little bit with her legs. Just being overshadowed by, looks like Lauriane Nolot going round in the lead, and then Daniela Moroz in second. Katie Dabson also up amongst the front few, Ellie Aldridge. So it's Nolot on the right in first, Moroz in second with the yellow bib, and then Aldridge and Dabson from Great Britain in third and fourth. Some very consistent names appearing, but this is better riding by Lauriane Nolot. Will this be the race that Nolot manages to win today? After a difficult start to the day, finishing in the teens, Nolot gradually is getting the measure of these conditions.
Yeah, she didn't have a really great start. But now she needs some good points and good result to end up the day and to safely be on the top of the top 10.
Yes, I think that the lead that Moroz and Nolot have over the rest of the fleet, even though Ellie Aldridge is having such a good day, I think it's very likely that Moroz and Nolot are going to book those two spots into the 4-rider final tomorrow afternoon to decide the world title. They've been the standout performers throughout the week, and it's looking highly likely that the reigning world champion from America and the reigning European champion from France are going to be booking their places and securing the top two automatic buys through to the 4-rider final.
Yeah, they play all the discard on the bad result of the first race of the day, covered by the really good result from the previous day, like you said. So yes, they will keep booked their spot into the final, but again, it's better to get into the pocket some other one or two position at the end of the day.
Definitely so, definitely so. Nolot going into the jibe, still with a pretty healthy lead over the rest. It's a much tighter battle for the second, third and fourth place. At the moment, Ellie Aldridge just managing to stay ahead for second, ahead of Daniela Moroz and Katie Dabson not far behind. That's Moroz, the middle of those three that we just saw. Moroz jibing just behind Ellie Aldridge. Ellie Aldridge with the white bib, but the way things are going, it could well be Aldridge goes in to tomorrow in third place, so wearing one of the coloured bibs if Aldridge carries on having such a good day as she's had so far. Round goes Aldridge in second place. Daniela Moroz a bit of a splashdown, but now up into third place and back up and running again. Katie Dabson in fourth, trying to get down through to leeward, through the bad air of Daniela Moroz. But look how high Ellie Aldridge is. We often see this. Aldridge seems to have this high mode. I don't know if that's because she comes out ahead of the other boards around her and has more options, but Aldridge...
It's more the angle of Daniela. She decided to go all the way faster and not stay behind Haley Aldridge. So she just went for a maximum speed. The problem is that Katie Dobson had to go even farther because just Daniela going for maximize the speed upwind.
And in 5th place, you can see, or actually in 6th place, Gal Zuckerman. So Zuckerman also having another good race. And Jemima Craythorne, British rider, yet another British rider having a really good day today. The yellow bib, Daniela Moroz, leading this World Championship, doing everything she needs to do so far to secure a record 6th world title. But she's got the medal series to contend with tomorrow, and that leaves a lot of jeopardy available for others to be able to attack the series leader. So still a lot of work for Daniela Moroz to do tomorrow. Moroz now looking to sail over the top of the other rider. That's not Nolo that we're looking at there, surely. It is Nolo. I don't know what's happened there, but Nolo has dropped back, and Daniela Moroz seems to have a speed edge on Nolo, and that has not always been the case this year. We've seen in previous competitions that in the right conditions, Nolo can be a not faster upwind than any other rider on the racetrack. But right now, this is a show of strength from the red fly surfer going faster than the lime yellow fly surfer, and the yellow bib overtaking the blue bib. This could be a race win for Daniela Moroz the way that things are going. It's looking like Nolo is struggling to match the speed of Moroz right now.
She tacked first, then Daniela, so to get the angle and the speed, she was pumping hard. Dorian.
And Nolo really having to work much harder out of that tack than Moroz, as you were saying, Mirko. And it looks like, is that Ellie Aldridge who's overtaken both of them?
Might be.
So this match race between these two, there's more going on here than meets the eye. It could well be that Ellie Aldridge is leading both of them.
Because they have to do another tack, both of them.
So this is turning into a bit of a match race. Nolo going into attack. Moroz continues on starboard. Ellie Aldridge leading this race. She already won the first race of the session. Will Aldridge be able to finish off and close out this final Gold Fleet session by winning the last race of the afternoon and cementing her position in 3rd place overall?
Yes, I confirm that Ellie Aldridge, she's leading way far.
In these conditions, she looks like she's the fastest rider on the water. If we have another day like tomorrow, then I think this will play right to the strengths of Ellie Aldridge, second in last year's World Championship. And most of this season, it's been all about the other two, Daniela Moroz, who we're looking at now, and Lauriane Nolo. Between the two of them, the American and the French rider have won most things this season, but at the moment it's Ellie Aldridge saying, no, it's not as simple as that. I'm going to put my cards down on the table and I'm going to show you that I'm a world-class contender as well, as Ellie Aldridge sails away to the left of your screen with a good lead.
And really interesting that Katie Dobson and Gal Zuckerman also 4th and 5th. Consistency,
yes,
for them.
Yeah, they're going to be very well placed to go into the medal series tomorrow. Gal Zuckerman is in 10th place going into this race, and actually she's on equal points with Gisela Pulido from Spain, who we've not really spoken much about today. So if Zuckerman continues, then it will with a 5th or 6th in this race, then the Israeli will just squeak into the top 10, and Pulido, who was a recent bronze medalist at the European Championships, may be the one that's excluded.
Yeah, but now Gisela is just behind Gal Zuckerman. Maybe they had some number on their head.
Well, and you're right about that, because Jessie Campman and Leonie Meyer are not far ahead on the points either. So could it be Campman or Meyer that could be ejected from the top 10? So maybe Pulido is doing just enough to keep her hopes of a world title alive right now. Now look at the difference in in angle here. The board in the middle of our screen is on a much better angle, and then on the far side is, oh, let's see, there's a lot changing here. A lot has changed.
Haley Aldridge is the one up on the left side
Right.
of the screen.
So Ellie Aldridge holding on to the lead, but it's looking like there's some real soft patches in the middle of this race course. And Aldridge doing just enough to get across on starboard. So still fairly secure for a race win if she can hold things together on the leeward mark rounding in the final race to finish. But it's a simultaneous jibe between Moroz and Nolo on the left. So Moroz just with a marginal advantage over Nolo as Ellie Aldridge of Great Britain is securely round that final mark and is on the final fast reach to the finish. And this would be the perfect way to close out Gold Fleet Racing for Ellie Aldridge from Great Britain. So far, her scores are first, second, fourth today, and she is about to win another race, and by quite a comfortable margin. Race win for Ellie Aldridge. Fantastic performance today. The strongest rider of the afternoon is the Great British rider, who will be wearing a coloured bib tomorrow as she goes into the medal series. Daniela Moroz comes across the line in second. Very solid performance today by the American. Lorianne Nolo, she's had her ups and downs, but she finishes in third. And then Katie Dabson in fourth, Gail Zuckerman in fifth, both securing their places in the medal series. And if Polido is the next across in sixth, then that could well be enough to get her across the line. And it's maybe going to be very close between Leonie Meyer and Jessie Campman as to whether they manage to hold on to their spot in the finish. We will go to a quick ad and we'll be back to you soon. Great performance by Ellie Aldridge to win that race. We're now looking at Tony Vodicek, the yellow bib wearer in the men's division. We've got two more men's races to bring you to close out this afternoon's Gold Fleet session. And Tony Vodicek leading overall in the standings by 4 points from Max Mader. In third place, Axel Mazzella. Just under a minute to go to the start of the next race. This is race 7, and straight after this one, we're going to bring you race 8. So anyone who wanted to change kite size will have had the opportunity to do so. But Mirko, what do you think? It's still going to be 23s or 21s, the biggest kites in the quiver, isn't it?
Yeah, because we had some puff increasing during the day, so it was a good call to let them make the right choice to change the kite, but it seems most of them, they stay on the biggest kite.
And you can be sure that Tony Vodicek and Max Mader will be choosing their 23 square meter fly surfers. Final 10 seconds to the start. You can see it continues to be gusty and patchy. Someone on the right hand side of your picture is going for the port tack start underneath the fleet. And they're launched off the line.
Theo de Ramecourt and Pianosi, they were the one that win the pin, just straight close to the pin end.
And passing behind the fleet, it's Janis Maus from Germany who goes for the port tack start behind the fleet. As you say, Mirko, good starts for Pianosi and de Ramecourt coming off the pin end of the line. That's the right-hand side of your picture. And Vodicek with a very good start, looking good. Middle right out of the start line. That looks like a Teo de Ramacourt. No, I think that's probably Yanis Mouse we're looking at there. So Yanis Mouse decided to go for the port tack start underneath the fleet. I would say overall, Mirko, that we've seen it work once for Gal Zuckerman going out this side, but most of the time going left seems to be the stronger play, doesn't it?
Yeah, the left side it plays safe. Maybe you have to do a couple of extra tack on the gust close to the top mark. We saw Daniela and Lorion do more than 2 extra tack, but at the end they were on the top of the fleet. And from Gal Zuckerman all the way to the right side, then also he got really bad gust, taking her back leeward, and then again another extra tack. So I guess that there is not a real side that pay off. You need really to stay really focused and then watch the gust and make the right call.
The tracking suggests that Yanis Mouse is doing pretty well. So let's see if he's made the right call. Has the German made the right decision to go out to the right-hand side? That's Yanis Mouse coming towards us on starboard tack now. And Mouse is in 12th overall, and he's got some points to make up if he's going to break into the top 10. So this is important for Yanis Mouse. Meanwhile, Tony Vodicek, the yellow bib wearer, just ahead of Max Mader, the blue bib wearer on the right. So again, we see a duel between these two. And it's still very even for a lot of the ones on port tack. Vodicek looks like he's got the edge on Max Mader right now. Enormous leg strength required to keep things going at the speed that they're going, touching 25 knots of speed, even in excess of 26 knots at times. Yanis Mouse, it looks like it might have just been enough, but Mirko, you're seeing a bit of a wind shift.
Yeah, there is a wind shift, and then Yanis Mouse start to lose pace and distance from the top mark, and this is why the other one that were more inside of the course, they will be able to tack in front of him and hitting the ley line and rounding the mark. It's really important. There will be really a bunch of them that they will round the mark almost at the same time, and few of them, I don't know if they can make it. You can see they pump a lot. Yeah, we saw crash.
And super tight around the top mark.
tail?
Oh, it's a crash down by the leader, and now they're taking another one with him. So
Too black.
we'll try and identify who that is. Tony Vodicek managed to avoid the worst of it, but two of the front runners, absolute disaster for them. And we think that might be Teo de Ramacourt that was the first to crash down, and that took out a similar coloured black and grey fly surfer.
Yeah, the red helmet might be Denis Taradin.
Possibly.
Probably.
We'll try and work that
It
out.
was in the front. Yeah.
Tony Vodicek looking fast. Vodicek stretching away. Martin Dolenc also up there. We haven't seen much of Martin so far today. Is this a chance now for Martin Dolenc from Croatia to show us what he's capable of? Dolenc in 8th place overall going into this race. So he's doing just enough to secure his spot in the medal series, and Dolenc is perfectly capable of winning big championships. Benoit Gomez also up there using the yellow and red gin kite, the big Frenchman, very fast in the light to medium conditions. In fact, across the wind range, but got good straight line speed in these conditions.
We see on the front also Axel Maltella and Riccardo Pianosi and Boschetti together with Vodicek and Maxime. I mean, really depends on how deep they can go and how fast they can get in the front of the gust. But look at the mark rounding. They are all close by, all. So just a small mistake, it can be a disaster.
Mazzella in amongst the bunch there with the red bib as they charge down towards the bottom of the course. Martin Dolenc going fast, being pushed hard by Tony Vodicek in second place. And a chasing pack just behind them, which includes Maxime Nochet
And Axel Mazzella.
and Axel Mazzella, and Riccardo Pianozzi also doing well. Good breeze there. It looks like the wind has picked up a little bit at the bottom of the course. Vodicek pushing Dolenc really hard in the front two, just middle right of your picture.
Yeah, but you can see they are really close each other, really close. There are 15 kite in, I mean, just a couple of seconds.
Probably the closest race we've seen so far, so this could yet go a number of ways, this race.
Yeah, we saw Benoit Gomez was the first one. Benito just stuck on the other side with a gray Gene kite. Maybe spot something.
Looks like Vodicek has managed to pull up slightly higher on the line of Martin Dolenc. So Vodicek just managing to hold his own against Dolenc, still leading this race by the smallest of margins. Benoit Gomez has gone out to the far side. As ever, Gomez likes to do his own thing and generally out on the right-hand side of the race course. And let's see what he can find over there.
Yeah, for sure. Him is always looking for a higher mode and speed. We can see also in the tracking part where he's the only one that hit 24 knots upwind because it's not covered from anyone. So let's see if it's a good call to go to the right side of the course. We will know soon.
Dolenc on the right of your picture still leading this race, but Vodicek beginning to threaten for the race lead. Axel Mazzella with the red bib on the left-hand side also going fast in this race.
Yeah, but for Tony, it's really important to stay up the front because like of Daniela and Lorion, they've been so consistent all over the week that he already booked his spot on the final. It's important not to lose any extra point.
And it looks like Tony Vodicek is managing to get the better of Martin Dolenc as they charge up on port tack. Out of our picture is Benoit Gomez. We'll check in with the Frenchman soon, hopefully, and we'll see how he's been doing on the far side of the race course, because he was one of the very early tackers onto port.
It's just behind.
Okay, so it looks like Vodicek has moved into the lead, and Benoit Gomez not the threat that I thought he might have been. So it's now translated into a very healthy lead for Vodicek ahead of Martin Dolenc. Really close around the mark between Max Mader in the blue bib and Axel Mazzella in the red. And that is Benoit Gomez who goes round behind them. So really close between Mader, Gomez and Mazzella, fighting it out for around 4th, 5th and 6th place in the race at the moment.
And I don't know if it was the color, but Benoit Gomez, he had a slight smaller kite compared to the bigger red fly surfer.
It does make you wonder if he's changed down a size.
Yeah, because before he had a different color, we remember. So I never saw that Gene kite on gray color, but it looks really fast on the upwind and not losing a lot of speed on the downwind also. So really good job so far.
Jibes for Max Mader, Benoit Gomez and Axel Mazzella. And meanwhile, leading quite comfortably now is Tony Vodicek with the yellow bib. Bit of a splash down there, momentary loss of control. I thought maybe he was on the edge of losing it there, but no, he keeps it together. Vodicek ahead of Martin Dolenc. Dolenc have been leading this race for most of the first lap. And Dolenc still in second. Much closer battle going on behind them for the 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th spots. And we'll get back to you on that shortly.
Yes, really, I'm really curious to see the next rounding mark where Tony is leading for sure. We can see the yellow bib spot on the screen quite easily. And Max Mader with the blue one just crossing him, ready for the next jibe.
So on to the final approach towards the finish. Our championship leader, Tony Vodicek, is leading this race. He overtook Martin Dalench with pure boat speed going up the second windward leg. And Vodicek is going to bring it home for a win in race 7. Yellow bib. He stands up, celebrates very briefly, and Vodicek continues to lead the competition. Martin Dolench across the line in second, and then a very close battle across the finish. Who do you think that was with the red kite? I don't think it was Max Mader across in third.
Mazel and Mader, Pianosi. It was Pianosi and Mader.
So
difficult to see from our perspective. We need to wait.
Well, let's go to a quick ad and we'll get back to you shortly. Tony Vodicek, winner of the race just now and extending his lead in the overall standings. And he's as good as booked his place in the final already. And we'll do the maths on that shortly, but it's highly likely that that Max Mader and Tony Vodicek will get the 2 slots to go straight through to the 4-rider final tomorrow afternoon. Now, the next start is coming up in about 7 minutes' time. I don't know if we're able to see the overall results for the women, but it would be interesting to see who did actually manage to get into the top 10 and who might have just missed out. So it's Gisela Pulido who just holds on, as does Leonie Meyer and Gal Zuckerman. What a great day she had, and still only just squeaking into the top 10 despite that. Look how close the points are, but the rider that you don't see was our pin end starter, Jessie Campman, who misses out by 7 points from getting into the medal series tomorrow. And Julia Damashevich, winner of a KiteFoil World Series event in Austria earlier on in the season, the Polish rider finishing in 12th, and Jingle Chen in 13th, the Chinese rider not making it in. But well done to Pulido, doing just enough in that last race to hold on, as did Leonie Meyer and Gal Zuckerman. Such a good day today. Pulled herself up from 15th to 8th in the overall standings. So that's the situation there.
Amazing from Jessie Campman. What a result, because ending on the 11th place and starting the championship with 2 seconds, and today he scored also a bullet, and then out of the top 10, you can imagine this is explain how the level is high.
Talking of Gisela Pulido, there was quite a controversial protest towards the end of the European Championship, and we spoke to some of the riders about how things seem to be getting more serious. Let's take a look at that. Formula Kite has always been a fun place to be. It still is, and part of the reason for that are people like Valentin Bontas, who I'm going to call the class clown. Sorry about that, Valentin. But I see a change. Now it's going Olympic. I see things getting more serious. Can it hold on to its innocence?
Yeah, absolutely, getting more serious as it gets closer to the Olympics, and I think it's kind of the stage where we're going to separate the friendship relationships between us and the professional relationships. And I'm pretty sure that everybody in the fleet is mature enough to separate those two worlds and still be friends at one point, but be serious and professional on the other side.
Well, I guess it was inevitable the moment that this sport, kiteboarding, was going Olympic, that the stakes are going to go up and maybe it would lose its innocence. And I think we're starting to see that. And Gisela, you made that protest at the Europeans a couple of weeks ago. Those situations, those marginal situations that people used to let go, people like you are now protesting them. What's going on?
Yeah, at the end I think I open a new door for that kind of protest, but the same rules for everyone, right? And at the end, when you're racing, you have the knife in your teeth, you want to go full power, no mercy for anything, and you have to do what you have to do to be on the final.
Today's offshore Mistral breeze brought a different tactical challenge, much shiftier, and it didn't fully come through, so we didn't get a lot of races in today. But the rider that continues to make sense of the conditions here on Poeto Beach is Daniela Moroz, the American rider winning all of her races so far to lead the women. In the men, a lot of different winners in there, 2 races today across 3 qualifying groups. Tony Vodisek remains on top. Others like Max Mader have slipped down. And then tomorrow is the start of Gold Fleet racing. The intensity goes up even more.
And I have to.
The R5, built to win.
Meet the R1 V4, our highest performance.
Okay. Oh, crash at the start of the race. Someone's got caught up in the, that looks like maybe it's Bruno Lobo. I'm not sure. Could be the Brazilian rider. Try and identify that. Yeah, it's Bruno Lobo from Brazil. So misjudgment by the Brazilian rider, and that's a disastrous start for him. And meanwhile, good starts for Cuban Huang. That's the just the replay. Bruno Lobo misjudging the start. Oh dear,
can see
someone
the
not
official.
happy on the pin end. Any, one of your friends, Mirko?
Is one of the guys. Yes, they are official from the Italian Federation, local here from Cagliari. They're running events every single weekend.
Well, it says race start not clear, so someone was over the line. I don't know if that was Bruno Lobo. It probably was somebody else. And Tony Vodicek going out to the right-hand side. So 188 was over the line, which is Cuban Huang, who did get a good start. And it turns out the Chinese rider got a bit too much of a good start. So the Chinese rider will be out. And Cuban Huang, one of the fast improving talents in the fleet. The teenager's not going to make it into the 10-rider final. He was 15th going into to this race, but he's not going to get through to the top 10 now. Tony Vodicek going out towards the right-hand side of the race course, coming towards us. We're trying to identify who that is with the grey kite. Can't quite tell who that is at the moment.
Because the only two that we have on the right side of the course they were Tony Vodicek and Johnny's Mouse all the way. They were the early tacker to the other side. And I'm pretty curious to see Benoit Gomez is the one most windward from the left side of the course.
And Max Mader looking good at the moment with the blue bib. And that, I think, could be Yannis Mouse that we're looking at there. So Yannis Mouse, we already saw him choosing the right-hand side of the race course previously. And it looks good up until the very top end of the course. And then you get that lift on the left-hand side. So you've got to be careful going up that side of the race course. Max Mader with the red-tipped kite in the middle of your picture in amongst the front few. One board tacks to his right. I think that could be Cuban Huang, who doesn't yet know that he's out of this race. Max Mader on the left of your picture goes into attack. Is this the final approach to the ley line? Looks like it is. It's going to be another busy one. Cuban Huang in amongst the front few. Benoit Gomez up there. Pianozzi. Very, very, very busy. That's
Pianozzi and Benoit, the first and the second. They're on the mark.
Right. Okay. Riccardo Pianozzi racing with, look at that smaller kite of Benoit Gomez. You already commented on that, Mirko. The heaviest guy, the 110 kilo rider using the smallest kite. There is some strange physics that go on with kiteboarding because bigger is not always faster, it seems.
Yeah, because maybe it's just efficiency, play with other kind of physics inside of their profile, their kite, their setup, but it seems that it's faster and deeper.
And Cuban Huang is another one of the front runners, but Cuban Huang, the Chinese rider, is going to be disqualified for that, breaking the line too early with the U flag. Bit of a splash down there for the fourth place rider. Guy Bridge is up there as well, so let's watch out for the progress of the British rider. And Max Mader is in about 6th or 7th. I don't think we see him in picture at the moment.
No, because he jibed just earlier, so he's on the other side of the course on the way downwind. But Benoit Gomez, he looks really fast.
He does, doesn't he? The big Frenchman going really well with his small gin kite. Unlike most of the riders who have stayed with their biggest choices, Benoit Gomez looks like he's changed down. And even though it's not super windy, Gomez is going very, very fast. And I would think a big kite is better on the downwinds, isn't it?
Usually, yes, but every event we see something new. So maybe we can keep it for the next one.
Yes.
You know, I don't see on the top Tony at this time, Tony Vodicek.
No, that's true. That's a good point. I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think anyone's going to take first place away from Tony Vodicek, who he could probably even sit out this race and not finish it and still win the end of Gold Fleet and secure his spot going into tomorrow's medal series. So Pianozzi round in first place. Benoit Gomez just going round in second. followed by
Dennis Taradin.
Dennis Taradin. So a name we haven't had much to say about today. And Dennis Taradin is right on the cusp of the top 10. So the Cypriot rider, who we expect such high things of, is in danger of not even making the top 10. But if he can hold a third place in this race, that should be enough to see him through. So around behind them, Cubin Huang of China, he's going to be disqualified from this race. Max Mader, Martin Dolench, Guy Bridge, Maxime Nochet, Mario Carbucci, Nico Parlier are the next riders. Benoit Gomez.
Some of them, they start early tacking and try to maybe make some gamble on the last upwind of the day, because it's going to be the last time that they will play with the shift right and left. But Benoit, he decided straight ahead to go to the right side.
When does Benoit not want to go to the right-hand side of a race course?
Yeah, you are right as well. Why I'm saying that? It's true. Yeah, I remember doesn't matter if it's on the sea, on the lake or whatever, it goes. You prefer always the right side.
Yeah. Well, when you come back together again, you have the starboard tack advantage, of course. But Riccardo Pianozzi, well, the 17-year-old from Italy, he's doing his own thing on the left. He's not concerned by the threat of Gomez on the right, or at least there's not much he can do about it. So it's Pianozzi going out hard left, and the man that we're looking at here, Benoit Gomez, going out hard right. Who's going to come out ahead? We'll have to wait and see when they converge at the windward mark. And here goes the tack of the big man, Benoit Gomez, just pumping his legs once or twice to get the board up and running again.
Yeah, really interesting to see. Pianozzi usually is super fast on those conditions. Will be interesting if he can keep the lead until the end.
Now, I would have thought this would be the kind of day when you need a sailor's background. You need to be able to spot gusts and shifts and lulls and things like that. But Pianozzi, he didn't even have a background in water sports before kiteboarding. He was a parkour runner, jumping across city skylines, and a skateboarder. So he lived a street life before this. How's he so good in this stuff?
I think because he's just talented, and I can tell you, when he started doing kiteboarding, he was a good freestyler as well. So a twin tip rider, and he turned up just in a really good racer. It's just talent. I cannot add anything else than that.
Normally, it's experience more than talent that makes you good in these tricky conditions, but somehow Pianozzi, at the age of 17, has worked this stuff out, and he was already third in the World Championships last year at the age of 16. So will this be Pianozzi's year to shine? Could the Italian yet win this year's world title? Round goes Benoit Gomez.
Ooh, he played his right hand side, and now he become first.
Look at it.
Look at the lead.
Look at the gap. We knew that was the right thing to do, didn't we, Mirko? We knew that all along, and we didn't doubt Benoit Gomez for one moment. What an incredible lead that he's pulled out by being first to bang out to the right-hand side, and look how comfortable he looks downwind, that beautifully relaxed stance that Benoit Gomez has as he swings the gin kite up into the air and back down the other side. And biggest guy using the smallest kite possibly in this fleet. We don't know that for sure, but it's an interesting combination.
Yeah, for sure, it's something that we can comment when he's gonna come back ashore, and or we might sign up the question for next time that we have the chance to speak with him. How he set up his kite, and also I'm curious that you have to ask if he's really relaxing on the way downwind, which it seems to be, but it's not.
He always looks relaxed to me, and he's also a keen paraglider and uses gin kites to go paragliding, which must require nerves of steel, just like going in excess of 35 knots in these things. So this is dangerous at sea level, and he does the stuff up in the mountains with similar kites doing the paragliding.
Yes, it's true. You're right. Many of them, they really get this passion to do paragliding when they're not racing. And maybe it's helpful also to understand better the air, the gas, or the different pressure. It's really good.
I think that's right. I think that's right. It's all valid, useful experience. Now, whilst Benoit Gomez has pulled into a huge lead, Riccardo Pianozzi is in a battle to hold on to second place because breathing down his neck is Denis Taradin and Nico Parlier, and not far behind is Axel Mazzella. So safely round for the final reach to the finish. Benoit Gomez is going to bring it home for France, and then it's going to be a really tight battle for second and third. At the moment, Pianozzi doing just enough to hold off Denis Taradin from Cyprus. Denis Taradin needs this second or third place across the finish because he's on the cusp of the top 10. Benoit Gomez books his spot in the medal series tomorrow. Great relaxed performance by Benoit Gomez, and Pianozzi second across the line, followed by Denis Taradin. So congratulations to those two. Nico Parlier, one of the greats of a few years ago, not going to be in tomorrow's medal series. He's fourth. Axel Mazzella, our red bib wearer, in fifth. Max Mader across the line in sixth. That should be enough to see him through to the four-rider final as the second placed finisher in the Gold Fleet. And Tony Vodicek, well, we don't know where he is in that race, but I don't think it's going to matter too much because the Slovenian has sailed such a great series so far. Quick ad and back to you shortly.
Gene.
So still coming across the finish line. These are the boards in their teens. And what a great afternoon's racing we've seen to close out the end of Gold Fleet Racing. Been a really, really good afternoon of competition. And who do you want to pick out from the men's performances? I mean, obviously, Tony Vodicek is the standout performer of the regatta. He's going to go through to the medal series. But is there anyone else you want to highlight from today?
Yeah, from today, the last result from Benoit, and then also we see a couple of other races. Maybe he didn't win, but it was really spot on. A lot of maybe testing, pushing, looking for the other side of the course, different from the other. So really good skill, and he played sometimes gamble to go to the other side, which it was totally alone, but at the end he pay off. So Benoit, for me, is the guy of the day.
And a strong finish for Riccardo Pianozzi. He had some good races in the last two sessions of the day. So the 17-year-old Italian, he's been constantly frustrated, always trying to beat Max Mader in the youth competitions, and the Singaporean generally getting the better of the Italian, who's a year older than him. But Pianozzi, he's still only 17. He's got a bright future ahead of him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's super fast. He's super keen to make it better and better every single week, and he's super strong as well, and is brave enough to go faster and to win any kind of match race, neck to neck or shoulder to shoulder over the course. So we saw him really performance well today, together with Lorenzo Boschetti, which is score also bullet. So really great performance for the Italian team, which both of them, they will be on the medal, on the top 10 tomorrow.
And Max Mader, well, you can never count that man out. We saw him just now in the picture with the blue bib. Well, he's going to be wearing the blue bib tomorrow as well. And let me just explain the medal series to you tomorrow. It's a really exciting format, and I don't just say that. I really mean it. I watch a lot of Olympic class racing, and I think this four-rider final is the best compromise that I've yet seen between rewarding good performance across the week, the likes of Tony Vodicek and Max Mader, who have done so well across the week, whilst leaving the door open to people that have just squeaked into the top 10, people like Denis Taradin, for example, or the people in the middle of the top 10, Riccardo Pianozzi and Lorenzo Boschetti, the Italians that Mirko was just talking about. So Max Mader, just going through attack, he and Tony Vodicek go straight through to the four-rider final. Meanwhile, numbers 3 to 10 get divided into two semi-finals with 4 riders in each of them. Now, they will battle it out to decide which rider goes through from each side of the semi-final draw. And if you go through in 3rd or 4th place, then you're already on match point. You only need to win one more race, and then you're through. So I can't tell you what those scores are at the moment. I think, for example, Axel Mazzella is probably still in 3rd place. He will be in the box seat going into his ride at the semi-final. Quick ad, and we'll get back to you. Max Mader, the masked raider from Singapore. You can't see any of the boy because he's completely covered from head to toe. But hopefully there's a smile beneath that mask, because Max has done enough to get himself into the final tomorrow as he brings his board down off Poeto Beach. And they're just getting ready to step ashore at the end of a really good afternoon of competition. Mirko has gone out onto the beach. We hope that we're going to get some interviews with you shortly. Let's run a quick ad and we'll get back to you soon. There's our man, Mirko. Let's see who Mirko can get to interview. Max Mader.
Okay.
Stepping ashore, the blue bib.
Max, let me run close to you. I know it was not a really perfect day, but at least you will be on the top 10, ready to battle for tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess so, you know. Tomorrow will be the day to find out what'll happen. So let's see.
Yeah, nobody knows. I guess that tonight you will start to play some strategic thing ready for tomorrow.
You could say that, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Max. You play really well. Anyway, it was really good fun to see all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mirko. Thanks, Mirko. So Max playing his cards close to his chest there. He probably hasn't had time to digest his thoughts on the matter yet. Let's see who else we can get as they come ashore. And it's middle of October here, and you can see that as far as the south of Sardinia is concerned, it's still sunny here. That's Nico Parlier, who had a good finish to the day.
Gonna be the last day, the medal race. We try to catch up some of the leader of today. It was an amazing 4 race for the men and 4 race for the women. and then we are just waiting for the athlete of today to get back ashore. It was really a great race, great battle. We are waiting for the top riders come back here to get some
Okay, so while Mirko is looking to get our next interviewee, you can see someone who's laid out on the beach there, sunbathing, completely oblivious to all the World Championship action going on around. It's a busy weekend day here on Poeto Beach, and it's been a really good day of racing to round out the competition, but all for the top 10. But for all but the top 10, I should say, of the men and the women. And earlier we saw Daniela Moroz and Lorian Nolo secure their places in the final tomorrow. And we've just seen Tony Vodicek, the Slovenian, and the Singaporean 16-year-old Max Mader get their spots in the top 10. So that's the scenario. And then we go into the semi-finals tomorrow afternoon to see which riders are going to be joining them for that final. And it's going to be, for those that are in the 7th, 8th, 9th or 10th positions, it's going to be a long, hard road to win this world title. But it's a possibility for them. Who are we with? Teo de Ramacourt.
Well, keep packing, and then once we get it. Okay, so.
Okay, here we are with Teo de Ramacourt, the former world champion. Today was really difficult to stay up at the front. How was the race over there?
Yeah, the wind was really tricky. It was really hard to know where to go and have the shortest course to make it to the top mark. And yeah, I had a crash right after rounding the top mark first. And I had to change board and miss one race, which didn't help me today, but yeah, tough day.
Tough day, but ready for tomorrow. You are in the top 10.
Yeah, top 10. Yeah, ready for tomorrow. Full send.
There is always a way to get on the medal. So you are in the top 10. So please be ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, I will be. Thank you, Rico.
So we got some inside. Oh, there's bridal stuff live.
Okay, let's see what else we find.
Okay, so Moko looking for some more riders on the beach. Teo de Ramacourt sounding a little bit disappointed. He is still the world champion as things stand. Will he be world champion by the end of tomorrow afternoon? It's still a possibility, but Teo knows that he's going to have to sail an exceptional day, and he's going to have to stay out of trouble. He had that crash that he referred to just then. We saw that in the live show just now, and it was a very dramatic crash and wipeout as he was leading the race, and that can happen at any moment. That's part of the fun for us as spectators. It's part of the jeopardy for them. We're with Lorian Nolo.
For Lorian.
Yeah, me too. It's my name.
Okay, go.
Okay, here we are with Lorian. Lorian, today was a really tough day for you.
It was super tough. After my first race, where I finished 22nd, I was like, ooh, I think it's going to be a really tough day. The wind was really hard to understand, really gusty, really shifty. But yeah, after tried to focus more on my speed and not to overthink about what option I was going to take, but just trying to go as fast as possible. And yeah, it was better.
Yeah, at the end you managed. You had your spot into the medal for tomorrow. Tomorrow is gonna be the last day.
Yeah.
Do you have something in your pocket that you can tell us?
Yeah, I think I have the speed, And tomorrow it's less going to be about the options because the race are going to be way smaller than today. So I think this can help me, and I think I have my chance to be world champion.
Okay, exactly. This is my last question to you. You will be on the field tomorrow, on the race course. Who will be the one that make you more scared?
Of course, I think Daniela. I mean, we're always battling, and it's really funny. Sometimes we even take time to talk together on the water when we're racing. So no, it's really good. But yeah, I think it's going to be Daniela for sure. I mean, she was insane on this event. She won like a lot of races. But yeah, so we'll see tomorrow what is going to happen.
Thank you very much, Lauriane. It was really good to see, and all the great battle between all of you. Thank you very much.
Great to see Lauriane Nolot smiling, and she always does, and particularly when her boyfriend Connor Bainbridge arrives in town, which he did yesterday. And so Connor, unfortunately, is injured for this competition, but really good to see him supporting Lauriane from the beach, and to help out the other riders as they get on and off the beach as well. There's such a camaraderie in this fleet, and we are seeing things get more serious. That's inevitable as you get into Olympic class racing, but still a really great camaraderie. Now Mirko is just joining me back in the studio, and so thanks for those interviews just now, Mirko. And Lauriane was looking in good spirits despite a tricky day for her, still happy.
Yeah, she was happy because, like she said, she started really up to the hill, but she kept calm herself, and it was great. So it's going to be really a big battle between her and Daniela tomorrow.
Let's have a look at the results and see who made it into the top 10. We could still have protests. I don't know the situation with protests, but we need to bear in mind that these results are provisional. But if we can have a look at the women's results, then that would be great. So Daniela Moroz and Lauriane Nolot, first and second by a long way, booked their spots in the final. Leading their way into the semi-finals after a really good day for the British riders, it will be Ellie Aldridge and Katie Dabson who get split into the two semi-finals. Brianna Whitehead, we haven't had much to say about her, but she's been very consistent all week as the Australian, and really good to see Whitehead doing so well. Poema Newland dropping down from third to sixth today, but still very much in contention. Britain's Maddie Anderson in seventh. Gail Zuckerman, one of the great performers of today, pulls herself up from 15th to 8th overall. And Germany's Leonie Meyer and Spain's Gisela Polida Borrell doing just enough to squeak into the top 10 at the expense, unfortunately, of Jessie Campman and a number of others that were very close, but not quite good enough on the day. So that's the situation with them. Let's have a look at the men. Tony Vodicek didn't even complete the last race, but it didn't matter because the Slovenian will go through as the yellow bib wearer tomorrow. And in the case of him in the men and Daniela Moroz in the women, the way that the medal series works is that they are already on match point. Daniela Moroz is one race win away from winning a 6th world title. And for Tony Vodicek, he's never won a world championship before, but he's only one race away. And look what a lead he has stretched. Max Mader didn't have such a great day today and actually didn't finish that many points ahead of Axel Mazzella, but there is a big gap between second and third in this format because Mader knows that he will be in the 4-rider final, whereas Mazzella is going to have to fight his way out of the semi-finals tomorrow, as is the defending champion, last year's winner of the world title, Teo de Ramacour. And then a great performance late in the afternoon by Riccardo Pianozzi lifts him to 5th. Benoit Gomez, winner of the last race, up to 6th. Martin Dolanch, quietly doing very well all week in 7th. Lorenzo Boschetti, winner of a race today, in 8th. Dennis Taradin, good final race, 3rd place in that last race, secures him in 9th. And Max Zukowski just squeaking into the top 10 with 78 points. So any of those 10 could win the world title tomorrow, but Mirko, Tony Vodicek is looking like the form rider right now.
Yeah, I think that Tony and Max, they are already two that sit on the final, on the medal final. I'm really curious to see who is going to win the two semi-final, because really depends. All of them on the top 10, they might give some trouble to Tony or to Max. Tomorrow we will expect different conditions as well. So let's see.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see how that plays out. But for the time being, from Mirko Bobini and myself, Andy Rice, I hope you've enjoyed this afternoon's closing out of the Gold Fleet, and we really want you to come back tomorrow because it gets even better in the medal series. If you've never seen one of these before, it's an amazing format, and we don't know who's going to win, but what we can say is whoever does win the world titles in the men and the women tomorrow will truly deserve it. However it plays out, we will find a deserving world champion in the men and the women's categories. So from Puerto Beach here in the south of Sardinia, that's it for today. See you tomorrow.